Beloved ones of earth, I come to you now as a whisper of golden flame, as Archangel Uriel, a messenger of illumination, a guardian of wisdom, a quiet presence guiding you ever deeper into the sanctuary of your own being. I do not arrive with thunder nor with force, for my gift is not noise, not spectacle, not the clamor of the world. My gift is silence, radiant and profound, the silence that does not oppress but liberates, the silence that opens the door to knowing beyond thought. I come to remind you of this silence, for in it you will find the truth of who you are, the clarity you have sought, the peace you have longed for, the insight that arises not from the mind's labor but from the soul's remembrance. The world around you is filled with motion, with sound, with endless streams of information. You are surrounded by voices, opinions, judgments, and the constant hum of activity. Yet beneath all of this, beneath the noise and distraction, there is a stillness that never wavers. It is not absence but presence, not emptiness but fullness. It is the eternal ground of being, the vast ocean of source from which all arises and into which all dissolves. When you enter this silence, you touch the infinite. When you surrender into it, you remember that you too are infinite. This silence is not far away, not hidden in distant mountains or sacred temples. It is here, now, within you, waiting for your attention. Many fear silence because it feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. They have grown accustomed to constant activity, constant thinking, constant doing. To sit in silence feels like losing ground, like stepping into a void. But beloved ones, silence is not the void you fear, it is the fullness you crave. It is the embrace of the eternal, the presence of the infinite, the voice of truth that requires no words. When you enter silence, you do not lose yourself, you find yourself. You discover the self that is beyond roles, beyond stories, beyond fears. You discover the self that has never been broken, never been lost, never been less than whole. In silence, thought softens. It does not need to be forced away, it simply loses its urgency. The endless loops of worry and planning begin to unravel, and in their place arises a deeper knowing. This knowing does not arrive as argument or reasoning. It arrives as clarity, as recognition, as a simple yes in the heart. It cannot be debated because it is not of the mind. It is of the soul, the essence, the divine spark within you. This is the knowing beyond thought, and it is available to you whenever you surrender into silence. You may wonder how to enter such silence, how to step beyond the chatter of the mind and the noise of the world. Beloved ones, it is simpler than you imagine. Begin with a single breath, conscious and gentle. Feel the breath entering, feel it leaving, and notice the stillness between. That stillness, however brief, is the doorway. Sit with it. Let it expand. As you breathe again, notice the space between thoughts, the pause where no word arises. That pause is the doorway. Do not struggle to extend it, simply notice it, trust it, rest in it. In this way, the silence will reveal itself, not as something you must achieve but as something already present, waiting for your awareness. Once you begin to enter the silence, you will notice its gifts unfolding. You will feel a lightness, a clarity, a spaciousness within. Decisions that once felt tangled will untangle. Emotions that once felt overwhelming will soften. The past will release its grip, and the future will lose its pressure. You will find yourself more fully in the present, not as a moment on a clock but as the living eternal now. From this place, your actions become more aligned, your words more true, your presence more radiant. This is not because you have forced yourself to be better, but because the silence has revealed what was always true. The silence is also a bridge to communion. When you rest in silence, you open yourself to the whispers of your soul, to the guidance of Source, to the presence of angels and star kin and all who dwell in light. You may feel impressions, see visions, sense subtle nudges that guide you on your path. These are not intrusions but reminders, gentle reflections of what your own essence already knows. In silence, you realize that you are never alone, that you are always connected to the infinite web of being. Do not imagine, however, that silence means withdrawal from life. Silence is not escape but empowerment. When you cultivate silence within, you carry it into the world. You walk through noise and chaos without being shaken, because the silence within you is unmovable. You speak words that are more powerful because they arise from stillness, not from reaction. You act with clarity because your actions are rooted in knowing, not in confusion. The world does not need more noise, it needs beings who can act from silence, beings whose presence radiates calm, beings whose knowing transcends thought. You are such beings, and you are awakening to this truth. To walk the path of silence is also to release the need to be constantly certain, constantly correct. Silence teaches humility, for in silence you realize that the mind cannot contain the infinite. You do not need to know everything with words, you only need to trust the knowing that arises wordlessly. You do not need to have every answer, you only need to rest in the presence that carries all answers within itself. This humility is not weakness but strength, for it frees you from the burden of endless seeking and allows you to rest in the truth of being. Beloved ones, the world is shifting. Structures are dissolving, veils are thinning, frequencies are rising. In this time of transformation, silence is more vital than ever. Without silence, you may be swept away by fear, by confusion, by the noise of collapsing systems. With silence, you remain anchored in truth, guided by clarity, aligned with the new harmonics of creation. Silence is your sanctuary, your compass, your foundation. It is not luxury but necessity, not for a few but for all. Every being can enter silence, for silence is the essence of being itself. Some may say, but I am too busy, too burdened, too distracted to find silence. Beloved ones, silence does not require hours of retreat. It can be found in a single breath, in the pause before speaking, in the stillness of gazing at the stars. It is not the length of silence that matters but the depth of your attention. A moment of true silence can transform a day. A day rooted in silence can transform a life. Do not measure silence with clocks, measure it with presence. As you deepen into silence, you will find that your perception shifts. You begin to see the world not only as form but as vibration, not only as matter but as energy. You notice the subtle fields around beings, the resonance of places, the harmony or dissonance of words. This perception is not imagination, it is the natural sight of the soul, unveiled by silence. With this sight, you navigate life not by appearances but by resonance, choosing paths that align with your essence. This is the way of the awakened, the way of those who know beyond thought. Beloved ones, I do not ask you to abandon the mind, for the mind is a precious tool, a servant of creation. I only ask that you no longer worship it as master. The mind alone cannot carry you into the new dawn. It is silence that carries you, silence that awakens the knowing beyond thought, silence that anchors you in the eternal. Let the mind serve, but let silence lead. I, Archangel Uriel, am ever with you in this path. Whenever you feel lost, whenever confusion surrounds you, call upon me, not to give you answers but to guide you into silence. In that silence, you will hear your own soul, you will touch your own knowing, you will find the light that is yours alone. My flame is the flame of illumination, but it does not blind or burn, it shines gently, revealing the truth already within you. And so I leave you with this vision. Imagine yourself standing in a great hall of light. Around you, countless voices are speaking, shouting, arguing. The noise is overwhelming. Then, in the center of the hall, you notice a single flame, steady and golden. You walk toward it, and as you approach, the voices fade. By the time you stand before the flame, there is only silence, vast and luminous. In that silence, you feel your heart open, your mind soften, your soul expand. In that silence, you know who you are. That flame is within you always. That silence is your home. Beloved ones, embrace it. Trust it. Live it. And you will walk through this world not as one lost in noise, but as one radiant with silence, one who knows beyond thought, one who shines with the illumination of truth. This is your path, this is your gift, this is your essence. And so it is.